I mean, come on. Barron has a win. Barron has won. Nobody has a losing, well, a zero win record. I guess a lot of people have losing records. They can't all be undefeated, but Barron has won. So let's just take a moment of silence and observe that. So anyway, it's week 5 roundup. I mean, that's the headline. So, Barron starts off, beats Bird 85-74. Chase had 7 of his 9 players finish with 10 points or less. Running back Steven Jackson was the unlikely leading scorer with 17 points. Guy's been pretty cold all season. I'm going to put $1 on it and say it's the most points he scores all season. I didn't check. He might have done it already, so I probably just lost $1. But going forward, bet he won't do it again. Also, Bird played the Patriots defense instead of benching them, and that would have given Bird the win. It was the big difference. He sat the Patriots D. They made a ton of points. Played the Chiefs D. They did no points. So that fucks Bird and helped out Barron, who had 7 of his 9 players finish with 12 points or less. So Barron pretty much stunk it up too. He basically accidented his way to the win, as anybody on his bench would have improved his starters except for the quarterback. Starting Andrew Luck was good. Everybody else pretty much just left hanging there, and it would have been a better result had he done that. So Barron lucks his way to a win. Everybody's got one. It's like Oprah. It's awesome. Zach, he moved to 3-2 after beating J-Ball 106-95. Over 75% of Zach's points came from 4 different players. 5 of his players scored 7 points or less. He's been leaning on his running back, Marshawn Lynch, basically all season, especially this week. He also left a fuck ton of points, 84 points on his bench. So he was kind of lucky that he played a team that's been struggling a lot this season in J-Ball. So can't be doing that every week, buddy. Jay, he could have fielded his whole team plus his bench and still lost to Zach if Z played the right starters. That's the truth. So if Z played the perfect lineup and J-Ball played all, 13 of his guys, J-Ball still would have lost. There's not a lot to say that isn't already been said about J-Ball's team. You need more consistent numbers from Brendan Marshall and Frank Gore if you want to compete. It's a shallow team, but hey, he's got one, and he got it before Barron did, so you never know what can happen, right? Sheck won like 3 just playing Redskins players last year. After that, Jordan's machine kept rolling and beat Sheck 135-84. Huge beatdown. Sheck had a disappointing day from his running backs. All 3 added only 23 points combined. And he played the Bengals defense, which was -7 points. And that just kind of added insult to injury. I mean, nothing he could have done would have helped him win this match, but that just is also kind of a little poke in the side from the Bengals, just fucking you. It's kind of scary to think how good Jordan's team could be had Adrian Peterson not been suspended. It's ridiculous. Kid's 5-0, running away with games, and he's got AP on his bench suspended. All but 3 of his players this week scored 13 or more points, and the only weak spot is quarterback, which he's still getting consistently decent numbers from. I think he's getting 15 points a week on average anyway. It's just the soft spot, so I don't see how anybody's going to beat him this year, but you never know. I also continued my fluky-ass undefeated streak, heading to 5-0 by beating my former lover roommate Richard Sharp 147-103. Sharp had 3 players score under 5 points. That's kiss of death. You're never going to win a matchup unless you're playing J-Ball. Manning went off against Arizona, scored 35 points, but it was too little too late at that point. The matchup was over. I think he needed Peyton Manning to score 70 to come close to me. And then he had no other player earned more than 15 points. It was a really shitty week. Sharp's team's kind of falling apart at the seams. It may not be his first rodeo, but it might be his last. I had 4 players combined for 110 points. It was ridiculous. Everybody else in my lineup blew ass. But I had monster days from Matt Forte, Arian Foster, Des Bryant, and Greg Olson. 2 of them scored over 30. 2 of them scored over 25. So it helped save what was a kind of frustrating day for Matt Ryan. He threw like 1 touchdown and 1 interception. But I keep going. I don't know how. I don't get it. I'm finally getting some luck, but now that I said that, I just jinxed it, so I'm gonna fuck it. And finally, Brad got the big W against his big brother in what has honestly been a pretty great rivalry since the league started. It went kind of to the wire, but Brad put a 30-point beat down on his brother, winning 152 to 122. Tom's tinkering kind of screwed him a bit because he started a streaky Michael Floyd, thinking it was going to be a good matchup. Instead of starting a consistent Alshon Jeffrey, which looks like a bad matchup, hurt his total output. He probably couldn't have really won this match no matter what he did, even if he played the perfect lineup. But there were a good chunk of points that he left on the bench, which could have made it look a little more respectable against the little brother. Now, Brad, we all know you don't drink, but here's a beer, closed, and I will just toast it to you as a customary salute for winning this year's beer of the week. So congratulations, buddy. I know it feels good to beat the big bro. We got the big wedding coming up. It's a big time for Big Brad beating up on little Tom. And you could have put it on pretty thick, too. If you'd started Tom Brady instead of Joe Flacco, and if you had played the perfect lineup, you had the potential to put up 178 points this week, which would have been only 1 point shy of the big record set by your big brother, 179 points. So it was a hell of a week for Bradley. As of right now, as a standing sit, Jordan and I are still leading our divisions at 5-0. We both have a 2-game lead on the second place positions, and that puts Tom and Zach filling the last 2 playoff spots. But Sheck and Brad are both only a game out of the 4th and final spot, and everybody else is a game and a half out of that 4th and final spot. So again, pretty early, but things are kind of tight, and there's starting to be a little bit of a separation from the top to the bottom. Buys are continuing this week. That means Barron, take the players that say buy and have little stars by it and are projected for 0 points. Take them out of your lineup. Put in the guys on your bench. If you don't have the right positions, get a guy off of the waiver wire. It's really easy. If you could play World of Warcraft for 24 hours straight and then some Diablo and then some StarCraft and then jerk off and then play more World of Warcraft in the span of like 5 weeks and never sleep, you can switch a fantasy football player. So I expect better from you. Also, the trade deadline is November 12th. We've had a little controversy over trades. Tom's getting a little upset because Porge is in there ruining his trades. I mean, you could just text and Chase one-on-one, but I get it, I guess. There's a grievance there, but nah. But trades have to be done by November 12th. It doesn't look like a lot's going to be happening, but you never know when you get close to the end. Sometimes some people move. But keep that in mind. If you're working on some potential trades, you got about a month left now to do them. Anyway, big matches this week. Another chance for Porge and I to get another win. Another chance for Barron and J-Ball to lose. Ain't that some shit? Click.